This is the Pythonic Accountant, and today we're going to play around with writing some JavaScript code using three of my new favorite models. Well, Claude is not one of my new favorite models, it's one of my tried and true favorite models. But then we're going to be looking at the new OpenAI O3 model as well as DeepSeek. So I have a prompt prepared that we're going to use to ask each of these models to write us some code, and then we're going to test it out to see how it works. So first off, this is going to ask Claude to write an accounting web application, making sure it follows accounting rules, starts with a chart of accounts, lets me add new accounts, be creative, make it cool and fun. So I did not specify any true features for it to use, and so we're just see what it's going to do. So Claude is not what's called a reasoning model. It takes a few seconds to think about it, and then it just gets started. While this is running, I'm going to go ahead and ask ChatGPT to write some code. And I'm going to do the same thing. This is the O3 Mini High, which is the current available model of O3. The O3 Mini is the faster, cheaper model. The O3 Mini High is the best one made available to the public. And then there's the O3 main model, which is not publicly available yet, but is supposed to be just incredibly powerful. So we'll go ahead and ask ChatGPT's O3 Mini High. And what this is going to do that's different than Claude is it's going through a bunch of reasoning steps. So it's telling me what it's thinking about, how it's accounting course, interesting, the different aspects of this, creating the interface, customizing the look. And we're going to use DeepSeek. So DeepSeek is the kind of newer Chinese-made model that is open source and has been proven to be really, really powerful. I mean, it's incredible how good this thing is. I've been testing around a little bit, and it's just, pretty much on par with what I'm seeing from these other models. So we should probably see similar capabilities when we ask it to write some code for us. So similar to what ChatGPT is doing, this one's thinking, but what's really creepy and really interesting about this one is the way that it thinks sounds even more human. It's not a human. It's not really reasoning. But the fact that it's going through kind of this thought process, it really feels like it's a person kind of thinking through this. So it looks like we've got a complete code, or it's almost complete with ChatGPT. Let's take a look and see. Okay, so Claude already ran into an issue. That's a shame. Let's try fixing it with Claude. I'll click that button. And in the meantime, let's check and see if ChatGPT's done. And it does look like it is complete. So I'm not going to read through this all. I'm just going to test this out. So we're going to copy this code block here. And then we're going to go into CodePen. And you can ignore this one. This was a previous one I was testing out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this entire thing into the HTML because uh-oh, that doesn't work. Oh, you know what? It looks like it separated out the JavaScript from HTML probably, which is good. I actually asked it to do that, kind of. So let's go ahead and grab just the JavaScript, put in the JavaScript piece, and that's going to be over here. Then I'm going to grab this looks like the CSS. I'm going to put that into the CSS section here. And then I'm going to delete the JavaScript that I accidentally put into the HTML section. And by the way, this is CodePen. CodePen is a great way to test out different languages. In this case, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The three kind of go together to complement each other to create really high-functioning web applications. So now let's add in the HTML and see if ChatGPT got this correct. Woohoo! Looks like they did. All right, so let's test this out, and then we'll move on to the others. So if it calls it fun, then it probably isn't. If it has to use the word fun in the name, maybe it's not actually that fun, but that's okay. Keep your books balanced with style. That's cute. So if I click chart of accounts, new journal entry, trial balance, wow, that's kind of fancy. This takes me into different tabs. This is pretty cool. So I got my chart of accounts. This could probably look a little bit better, but you know what? I'm okay. I can add a new account here. So that's pretty cool. I already have inventory. Why don't we add Goodwill? Sure, why not? That's an asset. and add account. And of course it puts it at the bottom, but that's okay. We're not going to judge. Let's just do a new journal entry, see how this feels. Let's do, 01, 04, 20, 25. Let's see, sales. Not going to get too crazy here. So let's just say we sold for cash. 500 cash, add a line. Let's sales revenue, 500 credit. But let's just do 501 and see if this lets me post the journal entry. And oh, it's perfect. It says journal entry is not balanced. Debits must equal total credit. So it knew to build in a check, and it won't let me post an unbalanced entry. That's better than some accounting systems I've seen, which is really sad. ChatGPT just made this. So post journal entry, I got a pop-up saying the posted successfully, and it cleared it. That's great. Let's go check our chart of accounts. Sure enough, we've got the 500 there, 500 in sales revenue. But what we also have is a trial balance. And so what's great about this is impressive. I hadn't seen this when I tested before. This shows us the total debits and credits, showing us that we net to 0 between the two. So this is pretty awesome. I'm very happy with ChatGPT's creation here. Let's check out DeepSeek before we go over to Claude. So DeepSeek, when I tested it before, it put everything into HTML, and it looks like it did the same thing here, which is fine. So let's go ahead and copy this. I'm going to open up a new code pen. Whoops, that does not work. Code pen, there we go. And then we're going to plug in the entire thing that I have pasted into the HTML block. And let's take a look at what DeepSeek was able to do with its creative juices. Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. This is a whole nother level of creativity. Like, you look at ChatGPT's, it's functional, it looks fine, it's responsive, which is great. But when you look at this is just like, it's kind of nice. It almost looks like a modern web application. So let's see if this works well, though. So we've got, okay, check, balance total, great. You've got your chart of accounts. You can add a new account here. So we already have inventory. And it's funny how they all kind of stick to the same initial accounts. So let's call this new account. Ooh, that's fancy. It kind of pops up. Let's do Goodwill again, asset, and create. And, similarly, it drops it at the bottom, which is fine. Let's go ahead and do the same entry that we did with ChatGPT, where we have cash and sales revenue, 500, 500. And again, I'm going to test this out and do 501, see what happens. If I hit save transaction. And again, it's great, but it's funny that they both do the same thing. It create a pop-up window saying the transaction is not balanced. Please fix it. So let's go ahead and go down to 500, save transaction, and it still says balance total. Great. Oh, and I hit it twice. Interesting. So it actually, ooh, we got a bug here. This is exciting. So when I hit save transaction the first time, it popped up with an error, but it still saved it. So you can see I had 500 and 500, but the first 500 was 501. And the funny thing is this says balance total, but it's not balanced. So got a little bit of quality control issues here. It also doesn't have that trial balance, which was pretty nice in the ChatGPT feature. So I'll still consider this a pass, but a qualified pass, because I didn't ask it to put those controls in place. It attempted to, but it did include all the features I asked for. So that's pretty awesome. All right, let's see if we can get Claude working. So it looks like Claude probably ran into another issue. Let's just try one more time, try fixing with Claude, and see if it's able to actually fix it. And, oh, interesting. So this could just be a token limit issue. If it says the code is incomplete and getting truncated, it might not be able to fix it if it keeps getting truncated each time. So we'll give it, kind of one more shot to see if it can fix itself. And if not, then we may need to... Ooh, okay. Claude, you barely eked in the last second. Let's see if we can blow this up a little bit bigger. That's not what I wanted to do. Interactive accounting application. How do I make this bigger? Well, if I publish it, that would be bigger. Sure, let's publish it. and copy the link. And let's just see what happens when we go to the link. See if we can see kind of the full page here. So remember, Claude is not a reasoning model, so it's a little bit different in that it kind of jumps to the gun, jumps to the conclusion a little bit faster. It doesn't have time to double check itself. So this is a lot less creative than both ChatGPT and the R1 model from DeepSeek, but still looks nice. So I've got my assets. Actually, this does look pretty nice. My different accounts kind of grouped into these different windows. You've got the transaction component down here. And then, oh, it added a really nice little, what looks like it's going to be a log down there. So let's go ahead and add a new account. We'll do Goodwill, similar to the other ones. It's going to be an asset. Oh, it lets me pick the account number. That's very cool. Let's call it 1450, whatever. Goodwill and account type. Oh, interesting. So it's asking for the standard balance, the normal balance. That's pretty nice. So I have Goodwill, and let's go ahead and record a sales transaction and see what happens. So we're going to debit. Oh, this looks nice. I love how it gives me the drop down with the sort of subheaders. That looks very slick. So cash 500. I'm also going to see if it decided to give us some quality controls here. And if I put 501, record sales, will it give us a pop-up with an error? Or will it just post the transaction? Or will it just do nothing? Oh, there we go. Okay. So it did a good job having the error, but it's so far up at the top you don't really notice it depending on the screen. But that's fine. It still did it, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and do 500. So we balance the transaction. And that worked. Oh, this is so cool. So you record sales, debit cash, credit sales revenue, amounts 500. And let's go just check and make sure it populated up here. So our assets show cash is 500. You've got your sales revenue 500. There you have it. So I got to say, I'm really impressed with all three. They kind of have different things they bring to the table. They all kind of worked for the most part with a first go. I mean, look at this prompt that I gave. Like a very, very simple, short prompt. And like, this is it. And it made, all three of these made, basically, one shot for DeepSeek and ChatGPT, like meaning I had the one input, I took their output, I didn't have to make any edits to it. It was perfect as is. And then Claude just had a couple of debugging issues, probably due to the context window. But still, I didn't have to fix anything myself. Like it fixed itself and made these kind of really nice looking working web applications with some nice features. I gotta say, I'm impressed. So there you have it. It's a good preview into the R1 model with DeepSeek, into the ChatGPT's new O3 model, and again, a good refresher on what Claude's capabilities are. We're definitely going to do some more diving in, especially into both the OpenAI O3 and to the DeepSeek R1 models. So stick with us. Keep following these videos, and we're going to see how we can push the boundaries with accounting. And we might even start doing a little bit more with Python because I know some of my listeners and viewers kind of miss the Python piece of it. So we'll pull that back in, start working with these APIs. We'll see you guys in the next one.